I wanted to make a video about this Airbnb listing as I usually do, but this one's going to be different because usually when we check into a listing that we aren't comfortable at, or we are, um, a bit repulsed, if I may use that word, by the cleanliness of the unit, we will basically immediately find another unit, contact Airbnb support, and let them know we're not willing to stay, that we feel uncomfortable, and get another unit booked, and then get the refund for the full time or the time that we didn't stay. So I don't have many examples to show you, because the main reason we're leaving is that this is during the pandemic, and there's supposed to be all this advanced cleaning and such. And say what you will about the pandemic and whether or not cleanliness and all that is relevant, but we personally, the things that we saw when we checked in showed us that there wasn't advanced cleaning being done, and beside that, having it not even be a pandemic, like the basic cleanliness of this place was disgusting. So when we checked in, actually, this burner top was filthy. In fact, you can see some of the remnants here. Let me focus that. Sorry, the lighting's not very good in here either. This stuff here was coating the entire thing, and I do have some stills of that, and I'll switch to my screen recorder in a second and go through my gallery and show you those. So that was one thing, right? And the thing that frustrated us most about that when we checked in is that we've maybe specifically Eastern Europe, we've ran into a lot of issues with cleanliness. I don't know if it's a culture thing or what it is, but it's not something we're willing to accept upon checking in. So we did let him know, hey, this is dirty and such. But getting back to my point, before we even booked, we saw that one of his reviews had mentioned the cleanliness was an issue, and so we messaged him, because we just came from another unit in Istanbul where we weren't very pleased with particular issues as far as cleanliness. So we stated to him, like, hey, we just want to ensure this cleaning's done, so on. So he said, yeah, the cleaning's done, blah blah blah. Then we get here, right? This thing's filthy, and in fact, the grime I'm talking about. It's the grime that builds on. You can actually see some of it here. Like, this is just like splatter, but the grime that builds on your just above your stove from like grease and the cooking and stuff. The grime, when you touch it, it's like grime, right? This entire thing was covered with that. Every single one of these handles was covered in it. So we couldn't even like utilize these empty spaces to put our stuff in there. And it's kind of grimy looking, period. But it was like I touched these and I was like, oh, what the hell? And then with that, so then anyway, we decided, well, we'll clean it. We told him we'll clean it, and we just want to get a little bit of a refund since the cleaning wasn't done properly. And he said, I'll come do it. And we said, no, we're gonna do it, because we had this issue in Ukraine last year where the guy said, yeah, I'll come clean it. And he sent his wife and his mom, and they like took like wet sponges and like tried to clean the grease off, and they just basically smeared it, and it was super frustrating. So we were like, no, we'll do it so it's done to our own satisfaction, and then just refund us. And he was very gracious and said, yeah, no worries, we'll do that. But then, like, as we went on, like, all these dishes were piled in here from the previous guest, which tells me that the previous guest washed their dishes and left, and then that was it. Like, nothing was done. So Rachel went to clean these dishes again, because the forks and stuff, I have a photo, it's not very good, but in the base of the fork, there was food chunks. So she went to clean all these dishes, but in order to re-clean all these dishes, she actually had to clean this, because this had actually, like, when water and bacteria sits, it was like grime, like you would find inside like the water condensation lines for like soda machines or like air conditioning units, that like grime that builds inside them. It was inside of that. So she had to scrub that to then clean the dishes after we cleaned the stove and all of the handles on the thing, just so we could eat, because we had just gotten here from another town, and we brought some food from our last stay so that when we got here we could eat, to then go out to get more groceries. So we hadn't eaten, we needed to clean the unit to be able to eat. And so yeah, that's why we did that. We went through the hassle of communicating with him, saying, you gotta kick us down a refund a little bit. Like, even the silverware dish, this thing here, was so grimy that when she after she cleaned the dishes, we cleaned that, putting the dishes away, she pulls this thing out, it's filthy. And so we were just like, are you serious? So yeah, we get to eating, and like there's little things in the unit that are like, you could probably overlook, like there's the trim missing from the floor, so there's this gap here that you can catch your feet on, and like the slats are jacked up and coming up, and like there's a hole in the door, and like little like rough around the edges things that you can be like, oh, okay, that is what it is, I get it, right? Though the money should be invested into fixing these issues, because I looked at some of the stills and this wood was missing. They didn't picture that door conveniently, and like even this couch, look at this couch, like that's, I don't know if you can see how dirty it actually is in comparison to what I can see, but like it's super dirty, like it's very grimy. And in the photos, you know, it's new because the photos were taken a while ago, so we actually had to use extra duvet cover to you know, even feel comfortable sitting on there. But here's like the kicker, like, so after all that, he's like, yeah, I'll refund you guys, and we're like, all right, and we got everything cleaned up to the point where we were like, let's just relax and we'll just stay here, and we're here for 2 weeks, even though I was super annoyed, mostly because I asked him, was the cleaning done? Like, getting back to the beginning, because of the other review. He said, yes, the cleaning has been done. The cleaning's always done, right? So when I messaged him about the kitchen, I said, dude, what's going on with the kitchen? It's filthy. And his response was, oh, the cleaning lady wasn't available. So I don't know if you caught that, but I messaged him and he said, yes, the cleaning has been done. It's always done. But then when I called him out on the lack of cleanliness, his response was, oh, the cleaning lady wasn't available. So at that point, to me, he lied. He lied to me. I tried to clarify something so that I wouldn't get here and have this frustration and issue, and I gave him the out. I said, all he would have had to say is, I'm unsure, or let me check, or let me go make sure it's clean. No, he stated it is clean. It was not. So anyway, after I told him that, he said, oh, it's my fault. I'll speak with them and make sure they're doing a better job. But, well, you have to imagine, like, it's not the cleaning person's listing. I don't see them. I don't know who they are. It's his listing, so it's dependent on him to check in. So host, if you're paying someone to clean your unit and you don't actually come to the unit, like, that's on you. But anyway, getting back to like the thing that finally set me off. So it was like totally final, like, all right, everything's clean to the point. Like, I sanitized everything. We sanitized everything. We cleaned everything that we thought needed to be like deep cleaned. Then like I'm finally trying to relax this into the night, and I come to the shower, and the shower basin wasn't dry, which is weird because usually like the cleaner will clean it. But it wasn't even just that. It was like there was little hairs. And then not only that, like the bucket, you could tell that they mopped like right before we got here, because even that trash can, I moved it and there was like dirt and hair under it, and it was wet. But like the dirty mop bucket was in here and I have nowhere to dump it. So I dumped it into the clean tub. And while I was dumping the filthy mop water in here, I saw this. Look at this. That is disgusting. That is mildew. And like that doesn't appear overnight. Like that took a while. And it's underneath the silicone. So it's just been growing for a while. Not only that, look at back in here, like the grime that they just allowed to grow. And at that point, it was already like super late. And I was like, dude, we're leaving. So actually didn't get very good sleep because I stayed up late finding another unit. I contacted Airbnb support. I told them we're leaving. And I contacted the host this morning and was like, dude, and I like listed all the stuff we had to clean after he told me it was going to be clean, and it wasn't. Maybe you're okay with that, but we aren't. We just felt incredibly uncomfortable about the cleanliness, the fact that we were told it was clean and it wasn't. And at this point, we've already spoken with him and told him we're leaving. Come get the key or not, we'll leave it here. Like he said, that's fine. He was very understanding, which is good. But he did just project all the fault onto the cleaner again and said that he's going to fire them, which, like, I don't think that's cool. Like, it's his responsibility to be checking these things, and he wasn't. Not to mention the fact that this was leaking, so this entire floor floods when you're bathing because they've just done like a poor job trying to slap like silicone and stuff in there. But these are reasons. This is the fourth Airbnb we've ever left in our 27 countries. I don't know, we've probably stayed upwards of 30 plus Airbnbs throughout the world, and this is only the fourth one we've ever left, and they've mostly all been because of cleanliness issues, and also like little discrepancies. Like in his listing, he listed that there was an oven. There certainly is not, which is kind of a bummer because we were looking forward to the oven because we've just been cooking most of the units we get in Eastern Europe just have these gas top burners, so you can only cook like certain things. But we wanted to maybe get like some cheap oven pizzas or something that we could just throw in and not have to actually cook and just let it cook in the oven. I digress on that, but it's just like little discrepancies in the unit and the cleanliness is what's caused us to leave. I do plan on making another video where I actually break down things to look out for as a guest and reasoning behind why you shouldn't stay. But I'll get to that later. But I just wanted to show this unit, and I'm gonna, instead of posting the unit as a place we stayed, I'm gonna post this video with a link to the unit as a place that I wouldn't recommend staying, because I don't think that the host is reinvesting the money that he's taking from the people who are staying here and using it properly. In fact, it's more like he's just keep pocketing it all, not reinvesting. He's just letting it, it's becoming more and more rough as the time goes on, and he's not fixing any of the issues. So that's just one of the reasons we left. But I'm gonna jump off and do my screen recorder so I can show you guys how filthy that thing was, and you'd be like, that is gross. All right, so some of these are gonna be sideways just because of the way I took the photo, but if you can see here, like, I know it's hard to see, and also this is a photo on Rachel's cell phone, but like there's this grease built up on the handles, and that was all over everything, like that little like shiny brown stuff here in the corner, like that was on everything. And then let's see, so you can't really see this, but in the use of those forks, like that white stuff on those lower ones, that's food like built up in there, which is just ugh. So here's the stove, like that is gross. And that was just like a small portion of the stove that I sent him as a still in the private message on Airbnb. But like this was so grimy that film, it was just so disgusting. And that was the entire stovetop. And then like here's the bathroom, like I was just showing you guys. And I think there was like the power outlet. So there's Rachel's and I's quick clean. I say quick clean, what I mean is we didn't clean it as much as we should have, or we would have liked to, because we did leave some grime, because I wasn't willing to put any more elbow grease into it. I probably spent like, what do you think, like 15 minutes or something?
At least.
Scrubbing that.
Yeah.
And so here's that little bit of grime. So here's a rag that he's placed around the faucet to catch the leak, which is like, that's gross. Like that's just sitting there building, bacteria and things, and I think that's inappropriate. There's another one with the flash. You can see that that's just grimy and it's disgusting. There's the hole in the door. Here's the microwave that's apparently been melted, but it still has more of that like grime splattered on it, like, and it's just not been wiped down. And then this was the power outlet in the bathroom, or in the bedroom, that we were left to use to charge our phones or run, like my fan, I bring a fan, or there was a lamp that was in there that wasn't even plugged in that we were supposed to use this. Like, look at that. That is hair and dirt. That takes a while. This type of buildup takes like true neglect. And I was just repulsed by that. And I don't know, it was just weird. Maybe you guys can offer your opinion. I think that it was just over the top dirty. And yeah, so there was the examples. Anyway, that's my video. That's my rant. I will post the link, like I said. And if anyone has any questions about issues they've stayed with, as far as whether or not they want help justifying checking out, or their actions that they did take against their host, I'm more than willing to answer, because we have had a few issues that have been resolved and then we did stay, or issues that we were uncomfortable with and we left. But yeah, I'll post a link, and any questions, let me know. Also, thanks for watching my video. I do appreciate it. Stay safe and stay sane out there.